to introduce a good friend of ours. He was at the very first amazing Arizona Comic-Con 5 years ago. We're celebrating our 5th anniversary this year. So we brought back one of our big guests from the first show. He's been with most of our events, but it seems like it's getting bigger and bigger every year. So I want to introduce a good friend of the amazing comic conventions, Deadpool creator, Marvel mutant guru, Rob Liefeld.
Thank you guys for coming. Thanks for coming out to see us. I really appreciate that all of you guys have shown up. And I want to thank Jimmy for always having me. His shows have, I was here 5 years ago. He started at the other building and moved over here 3 years ago. And I've just watched this convention grow. And I come back to Phoenix every year, no lie, because you guys are the greatest fans on the circuit. I am not kidding you. Give yourself a this year, and I meet great fans. Wisconsin, Cleveland, San Francisco, New York. The comics industry is blessed with tremendous fans. But it's funny. I have a question. Of all you ladies and gentlemen here, and a lot of you kids, how many of you guys want to be in the comics industry someday? I'm just curious. Show of hands. Okay, so it's quite a bit. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to confirm that. You understand when that trailer runs. I tell the story. It's the truth. You never kind of forget where you came from. And when I was in junior high, I knew I was going to draw comics. And people go, "How do you know?" And I was like, "Well, I just wasn't book smart. I couldn't, I wasn't going to be a surgeon. I wasn't going to be a litigator. I just wasn't. That wasn't in my cards." And mainly because I wanted to emulate my heroes. A couple of guys here on the floor, George Perez and Herb Trim, I met when I was 12 and 13. And my dad was cool and drove me to every comic book store signing and every convention. And he didn't get it. I have a son now who's into like Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't get it. But I drive him to every tournament. And he's so geeked up to go to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I go, this is what my dad felt. Because my dad said, I don't get what you're into these comics, but I love you and that's your passion. And that passion has grown up to be these incredible comic book shows. And fandom has risen up since I broke in. And I would draw. My dad was a pastor. My grandfather was a Baptist minister. I had to go to church twice on Sunday and once on Wednesday. And you have no idea, I would fake sickness like Ferris Bueller used to heat up his thermometer to stay home because the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman were on Sunday and Wednesday nights when I was a kid. And those were my favorite shows. And I'm like, I can't go to church. I'm sick. And then, eventually they found it out. But those are the best superheroes that we got on television. Was a slow-mo of, the $6 Million Man going, no. And you were like, this is awesome. This is the greatest thing on television. And I recently bought that box set, and I'm like, okay, so when you're 9 years old, that stuff looks awesome. But now we live in the age of Avengers and all these killer movies. And when I see that trailer, and if you want to get into comics, imagine drawing a character in your notepad in high school and keeping a running catalog of characters. And one day you see them on a cartoon, or you see them on a video game, or mini video games. Because Deadpool's been in the. Is it Mortal Kombat that he's in? What's
Marvel vs. Capcom.
He's in the Capcom fight games. That's where my kids came to know him. He's in the Lego games. He's got his own video game. He's been in cartoons, trading cards, action figures. And it's not just him, it's all the X-Force. I tweeted out yesterday, like, that the age of X-Force is upon us. The movies are right there. It's happening. And that's really what kicked off my career. I broke in when I was 18 years old. I showed my samples at a comic convention. I was very fortunate to get hired by an editor, the last editor at the show, but who happened to work at the biggest company. And that's what started my career. I worked at DC Comics briefly. I did a book called Hawk and Dove, which exceeded expectations. I was very fortunate. Hawk and Dove were kind of like D-list characters. History will tell you that, not me. That's history. They had never really carried their own series with any success. And I teamed up with Barbara Kiesel and Carl Kiesel, the writers. And as I said yesterday, I was the last guy picked. I kept trying, like, me, pick me. One of the guys who didn't choose to do it, his name's Art Taver. good friend of mine, fantastic talent. But he's like, I don't want to do that. I think it's still available. I just turned it down last week. So, you know, I plod my way. When you break into this industry, you gotta take advantage of every door open to you. I mean, some people are like, I would never lower myself to draw Hawk and Dove. And I'm like, that's my thing. And Hawk and Dove really got me, you know, noticed. 5 issues, exceeded expectations, the X-Men office called. And as I said yesterday, for all you kids who the Avengers is everything, when I was growing up, nothing sold better than the X-Men. The X-Men were everything. Wolverine was everything. Jean Grey. And so to be a part of that office was tremendous. But I was given a book that was near cancellation. And they literally were like, Rob, do whatever you want with the New Mutants. We're going to cancel it if we don't turn the sales around. And I rolled up my sleeves and I said, I can do this. I can take this on. This is awesome. And it's always better to buy a fixer-upper than have to maintain the mansion. And the X-Men book was consistent, great seller. But the New Mutants had fallen on some rough times. And I said yesterday, they kind of reflected, they were like 5 years behind the times. There's a, if I can put up one of the covers, but we don't have it, but there was a character called Bird Brain in the New Mutants. They have it, probably issue 85, 70 to 85, and he looked like the Sesame Street Big Bird. And I'm like, and he's on every cover. And you're like, there's a reason no one wants this book. Big Bird is Sesame Street. And you have a character called Big Brain. And it was almost a comedy book. So I went in and I proposed this new character named Cable. And right there, I'm going to tell you, you know, that was a struggle. I submitted all these character designs. They just said, Rob, you want to create a new leader for the team? And I had submitted a couple names, and the writer, God bless her, she said, we should call him Commander X. And I went, that's horrible! Commander X sounds like a G.I. Joe character that didn't make the cut. And so I said, it's got to be Cable, it's got to be Commander X. And then my editor, because everyone wants to outthink each other, right before we went to press, he said, Rob, I think we should call him Quinn. I think we should call him Quinn. And I said, I am not calling this character Quinn. He's Cable or he's nothing. And at that point, I'm like, oh crap, they can fire me. But they trusted me. And you don't get to Deadpool without Cable. Cable debuted in the New Mutants, and the sales on that book went up, and we went up about 30,000 in sales every month for the next year, and then they awarded me with the opportunity to write the book. And I was thrilled. And there was a couple guys who were like, Rob, you know, I can script the book with you. Scott Lobdell and Fabian Nicieza were the hardest hustlers in the comics business. Both of those guys. I'd get calls, hey Rob, we would do great work together. Hey Rob, we do great work together. Because I would write the stories, I would create the characters, I would give the story direction. It was all me. There was no, nowadays I read about these Marvel summits, and they all fly together and get in a room and bang out. My generation didn't do that. The guys that I looked up to, Frank Miller, Walt Simonson, John Byrne, those guys created impact characters. If you go back to my age, one day, Thor was a horse. And for those of you who are as old as I am, there's a horse dressed like Thor smashing the logo. And you're like, who's Beta Ray Bill? And it was fantastic. And it turned Thor around. That saga rocketed Thor to record sales. Daredevil was taken over by Frank Miller, and he infused it with this ninja, you know, martial arts, Hong Kong element, and it became one of their best-selling books. So I wanted to leave my mark, and you know, those are the guys that I looked up to to this day. And George Perez with the Teen Titans. I mean, the Teen Titans when I was growing up was Aqualad, Kid Flash, Wonder Girl, and Robin. They were all the sidekicks. And with George Perez and Marv Wolfman, it was Cyborg, Starfire, Raven. And it was exciting. And so that's what I tried to do with the New Mutants. And we were very fortunate that the fans, you guys picked up New Mutants 100, the best-selling last issue of all time. It sold 1 million copies and went back to press 4 times. That was unbelievable because we didn't have a trading card, we didn't have a gimmick, we didn't have a scratch and sniff, we didn't have a hologram, all the things that they put on today. We didn't have 100 covers like they have on Star Wars #1. We had 1 cover. And that's it right there. And that puppy kept going back to press. There's a purple cover, a white cover, a gold cover, and a bronze cover. And that's when I was like, wow, we're on to something. And again, following New Mutants 98, Deadpool was so popular that they said it was the biggest mail they had gotten on any issue, and they wanted me to put Deadpool in every issue thereafter. And that's why people go, Rob, how do you think that Deadpool is popular now? And I'm like, you mean Deadpool's comic book sells 40,000 copies. When I debuted Deadpool, he sold 850,000 copies. And in X-Force #2, where he's on the cover, that's 1.2 million copies. Without movies, without cartoons, we sold 1 million copies a month. Deadpool had the highest exposure at that point. And when I meet these guys who are in their 30s now, and they're like, I love Deadpool. They loved Deadpool 20 years ago. Now they are empowered, they have money, and you want to know why I know they have money? Is because the licensors know they have money, because I walk into Hot Topic, which is actually called the Deadpool store now, and you got a Deadpool watch, a Deadpool tie, a Deadpool sneaker, a Deadpool wallet, what did I miss? A Deadpool hat, 5 Deadpool hats, a Deadpool hoodie, a Deadpool Letterman's jacket, Deadpool pop-ups. I'm like, every category, and they don't do that unless they go, these dads have money to spend. And these boyfriends have, and these girlfriends. So he has obviously hit a nerve, and that's fantastic because that means he's going to be around forever. And so what I'm trying to say is, when you get into the comics business, man, and you get to see this stuff, it will. I mean, there's never a day I'm not 18 years old again and going, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. It never fails to excite me. Any frame, any sliver that I see of any of my characters, whether Cable was in a ton of the X-Men cartoons in the 90s. And they handled it great. He looked fantastic. Domino, all these characters. Cable was in a bunch of video games too. So that entire era is now being processed. And it's exciting. And based on the success I had with X-Force, I figured, as I said yesterday, back then, one of the other reasons I did all these characters, Marvel had a good deal. It was like basically you got a 5% lifetime investment. And I'm like, well, Marvel's been around since I was this tall. So now I'm this tall. I think Marvel's going to be around forever. I'm going to invest in Marvel Comics and create characters just like Wolverine. And my hope and prayer, I was like, if I could just create the next Wolverine. And so I was always, throwing characters in there. So it started with Cable, went to Deadpool, Domino, went to Warpath, went to Shatterstar, went to Pharaoh, X-Force, all those characters, all those villains. And then I decided, well, maybe I should own 100% of what I'm doing. And I was fortunate that I had 6 buddies. We were the West Coast. It's funny. I see that killer trailer to Straight Outta Compton. And at my first Youngblood signing, NWA showed up, and I was actually frightened. Eazy-E was at Golden Apple, and they can all tell you he was there. And Dr. Dre was hanging in the back, and I'm like, what's happening? And Eazy's like, yo, man, I love your world. Come on out to my car with me, yo. And I'm like little Robbie Liefeld from Orange County. And my buddy who was with me, his name is John Beck, so I have witnesses. And everybody at Golden Apple, I said, hey, can we take a moment? I'm going to go out with NWA, with Eazy-E. And I'm like, holy crap, NWA is here at my signing. And the reason I'm talking about them is we were the West Coast of comics. Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Will Spectacular, Marshall Lestry, Eric Larson, Jim Valentino. What united us was our geography. Prior to that, all those dudes were on the East Coast. And my buddies can tell you, I used to have them come over at 3 o'clock every day to my office so they could jump in the car with me so we could make the FedEx by 5 o'clock. And man, I was like, I see Fast and the Furious, and I'm like, I did those moves. My family was terrified to drive with me. I'm quite fearless. I will ride up on anything to get there. And I would always, FedEx knew me. Here's the box. And I was joking the other day with the former editor-in-chief of Marvel. Jim Lee and I were the first guys to get fax machines. Now, you have to understand, in 1990, dude, a fax machine was like a robot, okay? I said, Jim, you got a fax? He said, yeah, Rob, I got a fax. You told me it was cool. I'm like, okay, wait. And we put the drawing in, and I said, are you getting it on your side? And you're like, this drawing is over the airwaves from Fullerton to San Diego. So we said, Marvel, we want to fax you all the time. And Marvel's like, what's a fax? What the fax is that? And we said, okay, you need to, get with the program. The editor-in-chief of my era told me later he would have to convince upper management to get computers. So we were West Coast guys, we were breaking down doors, but Eazy-E, to finish that story, comes out and he pops open. He is parked illegally, I think it's Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills, in front of Golden Apple, in his sweet Mercedes. And me and my buddy are like, what's he gonna do? He's like, hey, come on, man, come on. pops the trunk, and there are 5 Uzis. I'm like, holy crap, we have machine guns! On top of 200 CDs scattered. And he kind of just moves the Uzis over. Man, I want you to have my latest record. And I'm like, I love it. And then he's like, I want to do a comic with you. And I announced it briefly, but seriously, he passed away before his time. But we were going to do a comic together called The Hood, with 4 characters, and it was going to be created by myself and Easy. But like I said, I see that straight out of comic trailer, and it brings me back to the 90s, because they were the West Coast rappers, and we were the West Coast artists, and literally, it freaked Marvel out, because we were hyperactive, we were young. When my dad, God bless him, God bless my dad, but what I'm about to say to these other guys. When my dad took me to my first comic convention in 1980, all my favorite comic book artists looked like Santa Claus. If Santa Claus had eaten chicken fingers all night and drank beer and didn't wash his beard. And so we walked into San Diego Comic-Con, and right here is Santa Claus #1, Santa Claus #2, Santa Claus all like, and my dad's like, stay close to me. Because this is conservative, and these bearded guys, they're strange looking. They were hippies. Like, Dad, I know what it is, it's hippies. These people scare you because they're hippies and they do dope and they draw cool. So, you know, like I said, my dad was supportive of me, just like I take my son down. I'm like, I have no idea what you're doing and why you're spending $40 on a trading card. But, you know, we were a transformational generation. We kind of bridged the new generation and got all these new, and what's happening now is there's tons of females coming into the business, which is about 20 years too late, but at least it's happening. But we keep knocking down doors, and Image Comics and the West Coast Initiative was part of that. So anyway, I have been drawing comics, obviously, for 28 years now. In 2009, I was driving back from my kid's basketball tournament from Vegas, and the phone rang in the car, and put it on speaker, and Marvel said, hey Rob, we want you to come back and do a bunch of stuff with Deadpool. What do you think? And I said, okay, fine. And that led to the creation of Lady Deadpool, Kid Deadpool, all the Deadpool Corps, and I did a bunch of annuals and one-shots and did 9 issues of Deadpool Corps that are collected and hard to find. If you have them and you want to sell them to me, I'll buy them. I am trying to get those all the time. I took for granted that they'd be around forever. But, so that was my recent stint. In terms of the movie, you know, I was fortunate that the director called me up when he got the job, said, Rob, I'm a huge fan of yours. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. All these guys who are in their 30s grew up reading our comics, and I'm the old man now. I walk into Fox the other day on a separate project, and this cool, hip-looking dude looks like a supermodel executive. He's like, oh my gosh, Rob, I'm your biggest fan. I was 12 when I bought New Mutants 98. I'm like, thanks. I don't feel old. But they were there, they experienced it. Those are their favorite era of comics. When I was in the 90s, everyone wanted to meet with me and make a movie. I literally had one guy goes, I really don't know what your comics are, but I know comic movies do well, and we should do one together. And I was like, no thanks. I was going to do a cartoon at CBS at one point, and the lady who ran the network was 79 years old, and she was so proud to be 79 and set in her ways, and they had given me the green light for a Young Bud cartoon. And after one meeting, I said, this is going to get canceled in 3 episodes, because you are not going to handle this right, you're not listening to anything I have to say. And I literally, from the elevator to the parking lot, my agents called me and said, what are you doing? They are giving you a cartoon. Everyone in the world wants a cartoon. I said, not me, I don't need it, it's going to get canceled. And here's the best part, and Jim knows this, he knows this. Jim goes, they say, if they don't give it to you, they're going to give it to Jim Lee's Wildcats. I go, he'll be canceled in episode 3. I don't care. I don't want my stuff being canceled. And Jim got canceled on episode 6. So 3 more than I thought. But and that's not because the cartoon was bad. It's because CBS didn't have the eyeballs. And sometimes you got to know when to say no. But today's audience and the special effects and everything is caught up. And the executives, they grew up with our comics. They read today's comics. They are much more educated than the 60-year-old money guys in the 90s who wanted to make movies and didn't know anything about comics and gave you Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin. So Tim Miller is one of those guys. He has, he'll tell you what his favorite comics are from his youth, what his favorite comics are now. He's phenomenal. You've seen a ton of his work and you don't know it. All the trailers for the Star Wars games in the last 10 years, that kick-ass DC Universe Online, which has Lex Luthor, them all battling out, that's all Tim Miller. He's just a fantastic talent, and the Deadpool movie could not be in better hands. And the guys who wrote it, who wrote Zombieland, they are fantastic writers. So obviously Ryan has been spearheading it from the beginning, and a good friend of mine, Gina Carano, got in the movie last Friday. It was announced, and it continues to get together as they prepare to shoot it in about 3 weeks, and they're going to shoot for 3 months. So fingers crossed that late summer, early fall, we'll get a great trailer. And like I told everybody yesterday, it is 1 year from this weekend that the Deadpool movie will be in theaters, and I'll be on Facebook reading. Yes, thank you. Reading that it was, I guess it is going to be Deadpool, fill the money, sucked, or Deadpool was awesome. I think it's going to be more Oscars. But at this point, people always have questions, and when I went to panels and the guy talked too long, it bummed me out. So I'm going to shut up, but I'll answer all your questions, because I'm pretty honest. Be nice. Let's try not to curse. And if you guys want to start throwing me questions and raise your hands up, I will come to you. I'm going to go to this awesome Deadpool.